Hello everyone, welcome to Creating with Karin. We were going to do this project in the adorable garden room this weekend. However, the weather's not cooperating. It was supposed to be 60 degrees, but I don't think it's going to make it. But that's okay, we're inside the studio and we're going to make this project. I've been waiting and waiting to do this, so today's the day. We're doing it. Today we are going to work on a project from our friends at Sally Tomato. Sally Tomato does all kinds of things with cork. And so today we're going to be working with cork. You're going to get a kit, and your kit will include this fabulous book from Sally Tomato, and not a cat, okay, a book from Sally Tomato, and it has all kinds of great projects in. There's all kinds of different things in here. There's the crossover bag, there's a bucket bag, a backpack, a reversible applique tote bag, and the wreath that we're going to work on today. So in your kit you will get this book, and then you will get some cork leaves. These leaves will already be cut out. So what you're going to get in your kit will be 4 big orange leaves, 4 big green leaves, 4 red leaves, and that's the only 3 colors. And then you're going to get 8 small green leaves, 8 small red leaves, and 8 small orange leaves. So the first thing that I did to make this project was to embellish my leaves. So I wanted to put the little veins on the leaves and stitch around each leaf. So I wanted to also connect the small leaves into the big leaves. So the first thing that I did was fuse my small leaves to my big leaves using the Wonder Tape, because that made it a little sticky. They stayed in place and I could stitch around them, because you can't pin them, you can't really bind or clip them. So the Wonder Tape held them in place while I was stitching. The stitch that I used was the little stitch that goes forward 1 and then back 2, forward 2, back, it goes forward a couple, back a couple, forward a couple, back a couple. I really like that stitch a lot of times for just doing a straight decorative stitch, because it really shows up. I chose threads that were the same color as my leaves, but not exactly the same. So they're a little bit lighter or a little bit darker, a little bit brighter, so that the stitch does stand out. As otherwise, if it was exactly the same colors, you really wouldn't see those stitches. So the first thing I did was to stitch around the great big leaves. So the large leaves, I just did a stitch going around each one with the coordinating color of thread. Then I decided which leaves I wanted, what color. I switched around my colors, and I put a red leaf on an orange one, a blue, a green leaf on an orange one, a green leaf on a red one, and kind of mixed up all of my colors and fused those onto the large leaves with the Wonder Tape. Then with my Racine pen and my small ruler, I drew the stems on the leaves. Then after doing that, I stitched around my small leaf and then stitched each of the stems on each of the leaves. So I did all of that at my sewing machine. Now I'm ready to put my wreath together. Now the wreath that Sally Tomato made was just kind of, she took her leaves and she attached them with hot glue to like one of those grapevine leaves or wreaths. So you know me, I kind of have to kick it up a notch. So what I did was I picked up one of these big twig wreaths, and I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it was like $21, and I went, $21, that's a lot for this wreath. But I waited, and it went on sale for half off, so then it was only $11. That I could handle. Then I took and I added these cool green twigs. These I got at Milligers, and if you're not from around here, Milligers is just a garden center, family-owned garden center, and they've got all kinds of really cool things. And so this was just a great big bunch of these green twigs. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add my green twigs. Hi, Gizmo. Good boy. I added my green twigs to my wreath. And I just did that by kind of clipping them off. You could probably break them off. These are still a little green, so they don't break off that easily. So I grab my little Twigs, my little cutters, and I'm tucking this in all the way around my wreath right into the wire. Now I could hot glue these in, but I like to not hot glue as much as possible because, you know, a year or two from now, I might decide that I want to do something else with this wreath, and if they're hot glued in, then it's hard to pull this apart. So later on, I can pull this apart and do something else with it. So I'm just going to go all the way around my wreath and add these green twigs and just fill out my wreath with this green twigs. I wanted to add some color to it. Now you could grab just about anything that you like. You could add something that's a brighter orange, or you could add some flowers, you know, anything that you want to your wreath. So I'm gonna continue to go around, and Gizmo is gonna help. If you see a hole, Gizmo, you let me know. I'll put some twigs right in there. Okie dokie. So we're gonna continue to do this until I use up that whole bunch. I definitely want that whole bunch in there. This is gonna add fullness to my wreath. It's gonna add some color. I guess. And then, you know, there's always the ones that Gizmo eats, so that's not gonna be very helpful. Off we go, all the way around. It's always good to have a cat helping. That one's not gonna go in. I might have to hot glue a couple of these in because you might not have enough wires to stick these in. Go on, buddy. You are right in, smack in the middle. I think that's the best place to be, isn't it? Yes. Right in the middle. So I'm gonna continue putting these all around until I don't have any spots left. So I might add that in and give it a little bit of color and light to it and brighten it up, because this is a little dark with just the greens, but our leaves are gonna brighten this up really nice. Alrighty, so now I have all my twigs going all the way around. Now I'm going to have to hot glue, because really the only way to get these to stick where I want them to stick. Okay, buddy. There we go. Okay, going with the cat. Really the best way to get your leaves to stick on here would be with hot glue. You could also take one of those foam wreaths and use floral pins and stick them in with the floral pins. That works as well. So I have a variety of leaves in a variety of colors. And so I'm just gonna kind of lay the large ones down first, going all the way around. So I've got 4 of each, so I'm gonna kind of try to, you know, line these up in like quadrants and then break up my quadrants. I'm gonna put my big leaves in first and kind of just tuck them in here so they're kind of opposite one another as I go around. And this is, you know, this is where the fun begins, because you can just really be kind of creative. Some of these I'm gonna end up tipping, kind of going down, and some of them are gonna be tipping up. Some of them will be in, so I think it's gonna be really a nice full leaf. I think we need an orange one over here. And we're gonna kind of tuck that one in there. And then I've got the red ones. So now the red ones are gonna go in between. So now I've got my large ones in, and then I will fill in with my smaller leaves. So we'll put a red one in here, and all of my leaves are kind of going in the same direction, except now I'm gonna have 2 red ones right here. I don't want that. So you kind of have to move them around, decide where you want them to go. I think they're really fun. Alrighty, so I'm gonna kind of leave those because I might do a little adjusting later on. Kind of look and see. I feel like I've got a lot of red and green over here and a lot of orange over here. So I'm gonna flip these around. So I'm gonna throw this one over here, pop that one over there. Let's see, how's that looking? Is it more? Still feel like I have a lot of red. Well, I think it's gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be fine. Somehow I feel like I wanna, no, okay. You know, this is like when you're doing a quilt and you're putting your blocks down and you're trying to mix up your blocks and trying to get it all, you want it to look like it's scrappy and not really well thought out and coordinated, but really well thought out and coordinated. And so this is one of those things that you could spend all day long doing, moving those little pieces around, but sometimes you just have to give it up and move on. So now that I've got these all kind of in place, I'm going to start and fill in with my small leaves. And those I think I'm gonna hot glue in as I go around. So I'm pretty happy with these. So I'm gonna hot glue these in place. And some of them, there we go. It is working, good. Never know about those hot glue guns. All right, some of them I'm gonna point out and some of them I'm gonna point in. So I'm gonna kind of go every other one, kind of point some sticking out and some sticking in. And just get them stuck right wherever I want them to be. There we go. And even with the hot glue, you'll be able to pop one of these off and readjust it later if you decide you really don't like it. So they're kind of going in and out, and some of them are tucked in and amongst the greens and some of them are not. I'm going to kind of tuck that one down inside. Go back over here, get this guy, get him tucked in. So this is just really where your creativity just pops, because you can put these guys wherever you want. And you might not like it, you'll probably pop them off and put them back in and do some different things as you go along. But I think it's gonna be fun. I think that leaves on this is really making those greens pop. And I think by having the darker background of the twigs and the darker greens, that the leaves are really going to be the centerpiece of my wreath. Where if I had a lot of light things and a lot of flowers and a lot of little things going on in there, the leaves would kind of get lost and would not be the centerpiece that we want them to be. Especially since you did all that stitching on them. You really want them to show up. So I'm going to kind of stick him in there. He's kind of sticking out. I don't like him sticking out quite so much, but that'll be okay. Now that I've got all of my leaves on, are they not going to fall off? You check it, make sure nothing's going to fall out. And I think they're all in there pretty well. Now I'm going to add my smaller and just fill in with these smaller leaves. So I don't think I told you this, but these leaves, when you get them, are all pre-cut in your kit. You do not have to trace them. You do not have to cut them out. They all come just like you see them here, except for the stitching, which you're going to add. Now you could add some really fancy decorative stitching to these and do more little veins on them, but you know, that's where your creativity can come in too. So now I'm really starting to just fill in my wreath, and I'm trying to kind of scatter those colors around, so where there's not really an orange one, I'll add an orange one, fill in with a green one in between. This one doesn't have a red one. And so now I'm just starting to add in all of my leaves. So if you do this project, which I hope you do, because the kits are on sale in the Creating with Karin portion of the website for 20% off. So anytime you shop in the Creating with Karin area of our website, you use the code. I don't want that one there. That's right next to another orange. See, you just pull that off, heat it up again, and I'm going to stick it over here. Use the code KWK20, and anything in that Creating with Karin portion of the website will be 20% off. And things will be going in and out depending on what I'm doing. But what I show you today will be on the website for at least a week. Okay? So again, if you purchase this kit, you will get the book with all of those patterns in, and then all of the pre-cut leaves that you need to do this project. You will have to pick up your own wreath and your own other little greens to put on it, but that will all be in your kit so that you can get started as soon as you pick it up. The other thing that I was going to tell you about this is, that she also has other kits that we will be carrying for purses and bags and all kinds of other fun things. So we'll do some more of the projects from that book that you just purchased. So stay tuned for that because she has some really cute bags in there. I love the backpack. I love the bucket bag. I have an idea in my head for that bucket bag that we're gonna do. So keep an eye open for in Creating with Karin for that project, because I think I have some fabric and some cork that I want to use for that project. So that'll be a lot of fun. I have 2 more leaves left and then that's it. So this is a great project that you could do in an afternoon. Yes, you could do it in an afternoon. I know, but yes, you can do it in an afternoon. It doesn't take long. And you have got a fabulous wreath for the rest of the fall. It's really pretty. Love the colors, love the leaves. Let's see how it looks. Ta-da! What do you think? What do you think? And I was thinking that you could, if you wanted more leaves in here, if you wanted more leaves on this, you could grab some cork. If you've got some leftover from some bags that you made, just trace your own leaves. Or go outside and put a couple little maple leaves in there. So you could trace, yeah, you'd have to go and trace your own little maple leaves, but you could do that. You can do that, it's okay. And put that on. So now for a little hanger, I am going to use, and it fell on the floor, some of this strapping. And I took a piece of strapping and I folded it in half and just stitched it in half with my sewing machine. So that's gonna go on here, and I'm just gonna hot glue this on. So this is what I'm gonna hang my wreath from, and I think I'm gonna do it this way. And I didn't press this because I like that kind of folded look that it has. So I didn't iron this, but you could certainly iron this. You could make it a little bit more elegant looking by adding, I'm gonna come up here about like that with it. And you could make it a little more elegant looking by using a pretty ribbon. But I'm going to use this rugged strapping. And we have this strapping at the store, and I should probably put this online under the Creating with Karin area of the website, just to, and I think I'm going to have to wire this on a little bit. I don't think the hot glue, and especially since I just held it there for like 5 minutes while we were talking, but it's going to kind of hang like this. And I'm going to trim off this extra strapping, and this might have to have a little wire onto the strapping just to hold it in place, because we don't want the wreath to fall off. So that is your Creating with Karin project today. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a try. After you have made your project, be sure to post it on our website. And if you enjoyed this project today, be sure to join our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. All of our contact information is right there for you. If you have any questions for me, just holler. I'm happy to answer anything you had, any problems you have, or any questions you have. So give this project a try. It was a lot of fun, and have a great Creating with Karin afternoon. Thanks. Bye-bye.